Every 2 seconds, somewhere in the world, someone has a stroke. It's a pretty terrifying thought, isn't it? But understanding what's actually happening in that critical moment, well, that's the key to fighting back. Today, we're going to dive into the most common type, the ischemic stroke. We'll look at what it is, what causes it, and most importantly, how you can spot the signs and maybe even save a life. So let's get right into it.
So, what happens? What actually goes on when the blood supply to your brain is suddenly blocked? Well, it's not just a minor problem. It's what doctors call a brain attack. And just like any attack, the response has to be incredibly fast and decisive.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll nail down exactly what a stroke is. Then, we're going inside the brain to see the attack as it happens. After that, the really crucial bit, the warning signs. And we'll finish up with the all-important race for recovery. Right then, let's start with the absolute basics. What exactly are we talking about when we use the word stroke? Okay, that sounds like a bit of a mouthful, doesn't it? Let's break it down. Focal dysfunction just means a specific part of your system, your brain, your speech, your vision, suddenly stops working properly. And the cause? Arterial occlusion. That's the villain of the story, a simple blockage, a clog in a pipe that stops blood getting where it desperately needs to be. And the impact of this is just staggering. Think about it. It's the third biggest cause of disability on the entire planet. This isn't some rare, obscure condition. It's a global health issue. And that's why knowing about it really matters to every single one of us. So strokes basically come in two main flavors. On the left here, you can see an ischemic stroke. That's our blockage, the clog in the pipe we've been talking about. And on the right, you've got a hemorrhagic stroke, which is totally different. That's a bleed, where a blood vessel actually bursts. Now, while both are incredibly serious, one is far, far more common. A huge 85% of all strokes are ischemic, the blockage type. And that's exactly why we're zeroing in on it today. So let's go a bit deeper, shall we? To really get our heads around an ischemic stroke, we need to understand the battlefield itself, the human brain. Just look at that. Your brain is an absolute powerhouse. It's incredibly hungry, demanding a constant, uninterrupted supply of fuel, that's oxygen and nutrients, carried by the blood. This whole intricate web of arteries, coming all the way from the heart, is its lifeline. It's just a brilliant piece of biological design. You've got two main arteries feeding the front of the brain and two that join up to supply the back. But the real genius is a thing called the circle of Willis. Think of it like a traffic roundabout at the base of your brain. If one road gets blocked, it can often just reroute the traffic, keeping the blood flowing. It's a fantastic natural backup system. But what happens when that backup system gets overwhelmed? Where do these dangerous blockages actually come from in the first place? Well, there are a few main ways this can happen. A clot can form in the heart, break free, and travel up to the brain. Or you could have fatty plaque build up in the arteries, and a piece of that can break off and cause a blockage. Sometimes a clot just forms right there, inside one of the brain's tiny little arteries. And in some cases, a really severe drop in blood pressure can starve the entire brain all at once. The second that blockage happens, a clock starts ticking, and it's ticking fast. Within minutes, brain cells are stunned. They run out of oxygen and stop working. But crucially, they're not dead, yet. This is the window. This is when we can still make a difference. And this window has a name, the ischemic penumbra. It's a rescue zone of brain tissue that's alive but in serious trouble. This is the battleground. The entire mission of emergency treatment is to get the blood flowing back to this area before those stunned cells start to die for good. As every doctor will tell you, time is brain. Which brings us to what is, without a doubt, the most important part of this whole explainer. The part that could genuinely help you save someone's life one day. How do you actually spot a stroke happening? You need to remember this acronym, B FAST. B is for balance. Have they suddenly lost their coordination? Are they dizzy? E is for eyes. Is there a sudden loss of vision or double vision? F is for face. Ask them to smile. Does one side of their face droop? A is for arms. Ask them to raise both arms. Does one drift downwards? S is for speech. Is their speech slurred or are they struggling to find words? And finally, T is for time. If you see any of these signs, it's time to call for help. Immediately. Now, depending on where the blockage is, the signs might look a little different. If it's in the front part of the brain circulation, you'll often see that classic one-sided weakness or speech problem. If it's at the back, it might be more about dizziness, vertigo, and vision.
But no matter what, that be fast check is your best tool. Okay, so you've acted fast. You've made the call. What happens now? Well, now the race for recovery begins. The second a patient arrives at the hospital, it is all hands on deck. The team works at lightning speed. They're asking questions, running brain scans like CTs or MRIs to see the blockage, checking the heart with an ECG, and taking blood tests. It's a full-on detective investigation, all happening against that ticking clock. Now, a big part of the puzzle for doctors is understanding risk. And let's be honest, some things are just out of our hands. Your age, your family history, your ethnicity. These are risk factors you simply can't change. They're part of your story. But, and this is a really big but, here's the good news. There are so many risks that you absolutely can influence. Things like managing your blood pressure, quitting smoking, watching your cholesterol, and diet. This is where you have the power. Taking action here can slash your risk of having a stroke. So in the heat of that emergency, for the doctors, it all boils down to 3 pieces of the puzzle. When did the symptoms start? What exactly can't the person do? And how alert are they? Those 3 clues are what guide the entire diagnosis. So there we have it. We've looked at the what, the why, and the how of an ischemic stroke. We've seen the battle that rages inside the brain and the desperate race against time. The only question left is for you. You know the signs now. Are you ready to act fast? Because being ready could be the most important thing you ever do.